Hey y'all, good morning, good morning. We have a special live today, a surprise group live. I'm gonna wait for, so y'all should be able to join the live. Yay!
Hi.
Good morning.
Hey.
I am so sorry. We were supposed to start this at 11. Okay, we ain't perfect, okay? Woke up a little late.
Okay. Man, I'm kind of mad though. I could have stayed in my bed like 2
I am so sorry.
No, we good.
So sorry.
I had to wake up.
Thank you for your grace. We had date day yesterday, okay, and I got a little turn. So I was like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be doing something. Let me get up. Okay. So we're just gonna wait for Julie. We got some friends on. Okay, this is gonna be very podcasty. It's gonna be very conversational. Y'all, you know the three of us.
Yes.
Oh, why is she unable to join? Julie, would you mind having us do a separate one? You can also still text us here because I don't want us to have to not do it. Let's just go ahead and get started, only because I know we'll keep losing people with this.
Okay.
So, Shayla, hey! Tell us a little bit about yourself. Talk to us about how we met, right? How you got into the field, and then we'll go into the program, right? So what you've gotten out of the program, how it's been.
Yeah.
All right. So who are you?
Yeah, I hope I get these dates right. I mean, I'm at the age now where it's starting to flutter away. But
I care about the actual specific dates.
Let me do the best I can. But I'm a therapist in private practice right now. For the past, I think, my anniversary is coming up in October. So I think it's for the past 4 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been a clinician for a very long time. Mm-hmm. So we met at an agency. Mm-hmm. And the agency is where I started my clinical career. And I was there for 12 years before transitioning. Probably did a little overlap in that transition. But so I think I'm coming on, and that's the thing. I don't know how long I've been like. I know it's over 15 years.
Mm-hmm. So you've been
in the field.
Deep in the field, okay?
Yeah, in the field. 15 years. And most of my experience, I think I can say this was a domestic violence agency that we worked at together, and most of my experience is in trauma and domestic violence, and still in private practice. I feel like that's really where my niche is. So toxic relationships, but a lot of people don't know domestic violence is more than just violence. Like, you know, there's a lot of relationship, issues that come with that. So so a lot of my experience being in that, everything wasn't necessarily violent. So like specializing in toxic relationships, a little bit of codependency, but still a lot of trauma, sexual trauma, DV trauma, all that stuff. Definitely consider myself a bit of an expert in that. I think I can say that. Like,
I think you can say that.
Into what we're talking about.
I think you can say that. Okay, I think you can go ahead and say that.
And me and you met. What I distinctly remember is like, well, I also loved the Training Institute and got involved in that. I don't remember what year though. I don't remember because I was there for so
long. That was 2015 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is okay. And I can remember that from my kids. Like, okay, so they were little. It's a long time. And they're like 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 14 and 12. So, and us going to the health care for the, can I say the name? Going to a homeless shelter to do presentations together about domestic violence and relationships and stuff like that. So really, and you risking your life, having me driving in my car. through the city going. So we had a lot of great conversations and stuff like that. So that's my, first memory of our relationship together. And it just, it connected through then, and also, and then we started, and then you started doing those clinician groups, I would say, peer supervision groups in your own private practice office, and got to know each other a little even more when we come out to those in the group. And I think that's right. Did I miss anything? I think that
no, it's so cute actually to look back and think about how long we've known each other, and like think about the earlier memories of our relationship. It's been a long time. And I love that you brought up the supervision group, because I started my private practice in 2016. And I started part-time, and I was in it by myself for a little bit, like 2 years. And I was like, this is lonely. And so I reached out to Shayla, I reached out to Julie, and a bunch of other like old colleagues that I had already made some connections with. And I was like, we need to do something about the fact that this feels really lonely. Like, we need to figure out how to build community. And so at first we were just doing a free thing where we would come in and like just meet together. We would talk about case consultation. And so we created a peer supervision group that I think eventually turned into more than just the case consultation supervision stuff, and moved much more into the like person of the therapist. Like, what is my stuff that I'm bringing into this? Like, what is the stuff I need to heal through? Like, so it really did shift for us, and it was like something that I truly did not anticipate or expect to be what it became. But I am truly grateful for that, because honestly, that really gave me the springboard to do the Unshame and Untame group.
And that was an integral part in me transitioning to private practice as well. Like, a lot of great information, a lot of support, like, making that transition and doing the thing that was healthiest for me at the time. Because it was very hard to do that, because I was at an agency I thought I was going to be at for a very long time. And then my life kind of changed, and I had to do something different. So it's a hard process. So
Thank you for saying that. And I'm so glad that that's the case, because what we're reflecting on is the fact that this group, although with the title Unshame and Untame Human Therapist, it's only like just about to be a year old in October. We've been doing this work and doing this group for a very long time. Right? We started this in 2016, 2017. And then we took a break right when COVID was happening, because I was like, I don't know that I didn't have the capacity to keep that group in the midst of all of that.
But
we kept in touch.
Text group,
our text chain, exactly.
So that was still our connection as a group, where, referrals and like needing information and stuff like that. And I still feel like I could go in that group and like
that group is still active.
Still active.
That's actually really cool to like reflect on and think back to, right?
Started that. That was good.
Come on, celebrate yourself. I think therapists are not taught to celebrate the things that they have done, and like what they have actually poured into not just the world, but like the community in general. And so I appreciate myself. I'm grateful for my past self and her ability to build community and her desire for connection. So I'm proud of her, and I'm proud of me.
Yes. How do you two go? Thank
you. So really, we're illustrating in many ways the practice of giving yourself like credit, celebrating self in this field, and giving you permission to do that. But let's move into so your transition. What made you make the transition? How has the transition been to private practice? Would you ever go back, right? Like, let's talk about some of the alignment stuff.
Answer that, I know. Not in a big year. Yeah, it's amazing how my trade, because I remember when I had to transit, so basically, I think it was 2013 or 14. I believe it was 2014. My youngest son was diagnosed with autism. And already our older son was already having like behavioral issues that we found out had to do with ADHD, anxiety, all this other, things and stuff and everything. So kind of figuring that out in real time, but also realizing we had a period of time where like we were being called every day for my other son to come get him and stuff. That interfered with work on both of our parts. And then we started going to autism conferences, and a lot of parents were self-employed because of everything involved in caring for a child that's on the spectrum. So really realized that, and that we definitely need to keep my husband's nice, software engineer, his stream of income. And I had to figure out something else because this, wasn't working. But still, I was trying to work within this particular agency. And they were sending all kinds of like indirect messages that wasn't going to work. And so, having to navigate that, figure that out, and then finally coming to the conclusion. I think my therapist had to say, get out. This is not good for you. Like, what the hell is going on? And so finally had to make a plan because I was working part-time at one point, and then directors changed, and then all of a sudden that wasn't gonna be, they weren't gonna be able to do that after I've been doing it already for like semi times. And so they forced me back into full time. And so during that year, I had to be like, whatever. But simultaneously, at that time, I had a close friend of mine that we've been friends since like middle school had called me to do a live, like one of their Facebook Live or something about domestic violence. And but that was like, I think a year like prior to that. And as I'm going through all this tumultuous stuff in this agency, I get a call. And actually on this day, I was going home from work crying, like, because I was so overwhelmed and frustrated with what was going on. And she actually called me and was like, hey, can you help me out? Like over, and the background story that she said her husband had watched the live that we were in. And when she was looking for another clinician, he was like, hey, why don't you go get Shayla? Shout out to Jackson. He's like, because she seemed to know her stuff. So she had called me just to help her with her caseload, pretty much. Like there was a lot going on, and I was like, hey, yeah, I'm thinking about making this transition. So that to me was God, but so that started that ball rolling, so to speak. So and she helped me a great deal with the basically gave me a guide A through C of what to do to become an LLC and all that other stuff. Shout out to Renita, Dr. Gabriel, thank you. The safest place for me to go to, because we've known each other for so long, safe spot to kind of land and her kind of teach me how to be in the private practice field. And and also simultaneously with you guys, as I transitioned, I was in that group trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Did I hate therapy, or was this environment that I was in toxic? So figuring that out at the same time and realizing, okay, no, I like therapy. It's just I'm in the wrong place to do it the way I need to do it, on top of the issues I was having and stuff. And now, like, fast forward, like I'm in the field, I can make my own schedule. We can figure out, what to do for both of our sons and the support that they need and stuff. And it really is, and I actually try not to look too far ahead now because it gives me anxiety a little bit. So especially with my son. So I'm pretty sure though I'm going to be here for a minute. And even if like I even contemplate, because at times, because it is a different kind of money thing or income kind of thing that you got to get used to. In the times where, I have to say for my leave. I have to do all that stuff or whatever. So the income looks a little different. And when I'm like, maybe I should go back, or maybe I should take on more clients, my husband is quick to remind me,
Very good.
you are a completely different person
Come on, support.
than you were in the agency.
Come
So
on,
my family
accountability.
were right. Like, you are completely different than what you were, you know, back then. So hell no, you're not going to go. But also I don't have like the desire to be back. You know, it just wasn't a safe place for me. Emotionally, it wasn't a safe place, unfortunately. And I just and I'm completely, and even with the new like mindset that I have, I just wouldn't want to do that to myself. It's not, you know, really worth it. And this is clearly where I should be. So
can you repeat some of those? Because you just gave yourself like 5 different affirmations. You just literally. So let's repeat what you just said. Right? So I'm where I should be.
Yes.
I'm where I should be.
Sure.
Right. What were some of the other things that you just poured into yourself just now? Because I just don't want you to forget.
I already forgot.
I'm where I should be. Look, we'll have to look back through this live and grab your affirmations.
I know, right? Clearly made the right decision for myself and my family.
I'm not willing to do that to myself.
Yeah, I'm not willing to do that to myself.
That was one of the things.
Yeah, I'm a different person making different decisions. And I think what I'm saying is I'm healing, still healing. I always say, I mean, because I never tell my clients that there's, everybody wants that endpoint to trauma. Like, it's done. I no longer have triggers. I no longer have anything. And there's not, in my practice, or what I tell my clients, or what I've learned in my years of practice, is that it's not, you're not looking for a finish line. You're, you're looking for your progress. Like, it's progress, not perfection. So you're looking for your progress, because you're always going to have like a trigger, but you're going to learn how to manage it a lot better. And it's going to barely look like one, because you have learned to manage yourself through it and stuff. And as a society, we just have to get used to, it's like, we don't need a finish line. I think everybody else has this feel like, oh, you're cured. Like, I feel like that's a judgment piece in there. Like, something's wrong with you. So you got to be fixed and get to that finish, and then finish line is the fix. But there's nothing wrong with you. Something's happened to you. You're healing from it, and you will continue to heal through your lifetime, and it's okay.
Love that. Right? We don't need a finish line. We don't need a finish line. Right? We are, honestly, if we're gonna take it existential, right? We recognize that there is already a built-in finish line. Why are you rushing to that? Like, you don't gotta like do nothing to make that happen, right? That is just a truth. Like, you will get to a finish line, right? But the finish line still is not you being like, haha, I've made it to perfection, and now I can leave this place. Right? Like, that's not what it actually looks like. I love that you said that. So you said, listen, my life changed. Right, my circumstances changed. Parenting looked different for me, right? And so I needed flexibility, right? And I needed support and safety for me to align my work with what was happening in my life, right? And I'm so sorry that is your experience, and also I want to normalize that as like, that is not an abnormal experience, which is so sad and scary for our profession, right? That so many of us are not given the permission and the space and the safety and the support to align what our work looks like with what our lives look like.
What I learned in the group as well. It's like, I'm thinking something's wrong with me going into this group, right? Something like I'm doing something, and the agency certainly, the people there definitely
Right.
made
Yeah.
me, some of the people there, I don't want to say every, but some of the people there also made me feel like I was the issue.
Mm-hmm.
So
And blaming,
I learned through,
denying and blaming,
yeah.
huh? Come on with the, yeah.
Like, I was
The,
like, oh, they acting like we don't know this whole power and control well.
no,
Like,
wait a minute. We trained in the power and control well.
wow.
What is that? I hear
So
you.
yeah, so it wasn't until, so yeah, that part too, being a great part of the group, and it continues now, is the validation that I have
Yeah.
received in my experience, and people really having the exact same experience. I really think if I didn't have that, I will still be now thinking I'm the issue
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
not to say that there's, in that circumstance, I don't know, I could have done, some things differently, or, whatever it was, but I don't even think that's what I should be put. I mean, for me, it's important to say that I was treated not right, like,
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's more regular for me to blame myself for everything.
Uh,
So
good self-reflection. Look,
yeah,
that's something that you got to manage and make
yeah,
sure you are aware of and
right.
recognizing, right?
And
And then
that's something I
combating.
also learned in the group. so,
Mm-hmm.
so like, because my past trauma, it definitely affected a lot of things, and
Yeah.
how things were handled, or how I perceived things at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, part of that healing process was really, looking at it in a
Mm-hmm.
realistic way. So yeah, so that
Very
was it.
good. So you transitioned,
Yeah.
right? You aligned. You
Yes.
talked about the spiritual piece of that, right? The
Yes. Yeah, that was a
godness
big
of
piece
it
for me.
all,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Recognizing that the spiritual is a part of alignment.
Yeah.
If like
Yeah.
if we neglect any piece of the puzzle of
Yeah.
humanity when we're trying to
Hmm.
align, we're not going to be fully aligned,
Right.
right? And so we
Right.
can't take spirit out of
Yeah.
it, right? We can't take that
Yes.
portion out of it for ourselves. It's a
Yeah.
part of the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you said that was a God thing,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
you feel like there was some guidance in that alignment, right? And so now you're talking about safety, you're talking about support,
Yeah.
right? Once you found out what the actual problems were, you were able to align towards something that felt more safe, felt more supportive,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. And
How
other
would
people
you
can call it the
describe? Okay.
universe or whatever, but
Mhm.
like, for me it was God. For other people it might be the universe, but I got several signs prior. Like,
Mhm.
if you
Mhm.
want to call it God, the universe, or whatever,
It's
for me to
the
be, and then
semantic
got the
language.
sledgehammer,
Mhm.
like, at some point. So like, I want
Mhm.
people, like they say, God speaks to you in whispers, the universe speaks to you in whispers. Listen to the whispers, because the sledgehammer will come.
Mhm.
Like, for you.
Mhm.
I just want to send that message. But yeah.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
hear you. I receive it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're
Yeah.
talking about safety. We're talking about support. All
Hmm.
right. What does safety mean to you? What does like support, like safe support, look like to you?
Yeah. Yeah. Does not look like judgment. That's
Mhm.
I'll probably tell you what it doesn't look like rather than what
Mhm.
it does. But yeah, it's like, and again, something I tell my client. By the way, guys, we tell our clients stuff we should, hear in
That we need to listen
ourselves.
to. Mhm. Certainly, the human
But
therapist of it
something,
all. The human
yeah.
therapist. Mhm.
But the best way I could put it, because the best way, like, I visualize it, is like, or think about it, is like, if I'm talking to someone, or if I'm on the phone with someone, or interacting with someone, and I walk away from that conversation feeling like I'm the bomb.com, or I'm like, feeling
Mhm.
really good about myself, or feeling really seen, feeling really
Mhm.
heard, and understood, which is really important for me specifically, then that is a safe person for
Mhm.
me and
Mhm.
stuff. If I walk away from a conversation feeling crazy,
Mhm.
feeling like all over the place, feeling, discombobulated, or just like feeling horrible about myself,
Mhm.
about a situation, not getting really a lot of clarification and stuff,
Mhm.
like, yeah, then I know that's a sign that that person might not be the healthiest
Mhm.
for me.
Mhm.
And also, if I feel crap about myself, used to tell people a lot too. It's like, especially if you come from a background of some kind of trauma, like, you don't need help in feeling like shit about yourself. So,
Truly.
like,
No
so for
assistance
everyone out
needed.
there,
Thank you.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also learned, that abusive people in your life are going to justify their abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just telling you the truth. Like, that's who I am to you, and, stuff like that. I have had people tell me the truth and still feel loved in the end,
True.
So
Mm-hmm.
remember that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
some of that, if you feel that icky, it's in the delivery, it's the way they're giving, there's some judgment in there, something going on.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll know the difference when you receive enlightenment and it doesn't feel like shit. Like, but you
Mm-hmm.
have to have that experience, and you haven't had that experience, and you're not around the right people yet. So,
Come
yeah.
on.
So that's a big
And
part.
the whole thing just like that, because
Yeah.
that is
I'm just saying.
just
Like,
saying.
and that's
You're
for
just
all.
saying.
And I've been in business for a minute. My internship was in abuse, all that stuff. So several years, probably 20 at this point. Been around abusers, a lot, like, doing abuser intervention, stuff like that. So, like, when that, manipulation, all that stuff that's going on and stuff. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
nah, man, you tell me whatever, you could try to validate whatever you telling me, but no, I know now, intuition wise, what that feel, what that feels like, and trust
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Yeah. So,
Yep. Very good.
yeah.
Intuition wise, and also from past experience and observing and like building up a level of
Yeah.
really an alert system in many ways to the red flags,
Yes.
right? And then trusting
Right.
those. Very
Yes.
good. So
Definitely.
safety, support, it
Yeah.
feels like being heard, right? It
Yeah.
feels like being seen. It
Yeah.
feels like walking away feeling enlightened, feeling clear, right? Feeling like the
Yes.
bomb.com sometimes. Maybe not all the
Yes.
time, right? But at least feeling loved and seen,
Yes.
right? Like even if there's an accountability in it, even if there is a hard truth in it, like something that hurts,
Right.
you can still walk away feeling
Right.
loved, right? You can still walk away feeling lovable, right? Like you can
Yes.
still walk away feeling understood,
Yeah.
right? Even
Yes.
in a call out, right? I
Yep.
call y'all out all the time.
Yep.
I
Yes.
really do.
You
I
do.
call y'all out all the time.
Like, okay, yeah.
So it's not like we don't do any of that in the ring, but we
Yes.
do it with care. We do it with
Yes.
grace. We do it with love, right? We hold each other
Yes.
accountable in a way that says, I still see you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
I understand why it's
Mhm.
hard for you.
Yes.
Right? And I
Yes.
can validate that and empathize with that and also tell you to move your ass, right? Like
Yes.
both of those things can exist at
And
the same time.
And another thing about that safety piece is, like, I also learned being in a toxic work environment, or in toxic environments, period. Like, because this happened in my personal and work environments, places where I wasn't safe, but I said things that, that you don't say to unsafe people. So that was part of the journey of the
Yeah,
lesson as
yeah,
well. It's like,
yeah.
hey, mama, my mama saying hi. So,
Hey, mama.
but,
Thank you for joining
and
us.
my sister's in here too. Say, I saw her. But
Hey,
yeah,
y'all.
so learning that, like, if I was in supervision at times and said things about my life and I wasn't safe, but not, and learning that on the back end, I wasn't safe to say certain
Right,
things
right.
in those moments and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, some of us are just not taught that. I had to learn that about myself, and had to be like, even today when I was preparing for today, I was like, okay, Shayla, like, make sure you're okay with what you're saying, and you're not releasing something you don't want to release, or talk about something you don't want to, name stuff like that, being cognizant, aware of, what I'm, but also it's in my nature just to be, candid and authentic, and, things like that. So there's a balance you kind of have to do there as well. It's like,
There's
be
a
okay with
balance
who you are.
and an assessment, right?
Yeah,
There's a balance
yes.
and an assessment.
Right.
I almost see like vulnerability and safety like camping,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's like if you're gonna go out and go camping, right?
Yes.
You're gonna look up. Yeah, you're gonna pick a spot. You're gonna look around. You're gonna make sure. I'm not like an avid camper, so please excuse the lack of knowledge in this analogy, but it's gonna make sense. I'll tell you. But you're gonna go out and you're gonna pick a spot that don't have no bears, right? You're gonna make sure that like it's not no trees that can fall on your tent,
or
right?
have
Like
some
you're
bear
gonna
spray.
make sure. You're gonna have some bear spray. You're gonna make sure that the spot that you choose to camp at, right, to unpack your bag, to pitch your tent, is a safe space.
Exactly.
But a lot of times we don't do that emotionally.
Yeah.
We just start unpacking. We're like, oh, look at you.
Yeah.
And then we start pitching our tent and we unpack our bag. Like, that's the vulnerability. That's the vulnerability.
Yes.
And then we get mad when it starts raining and the bears come and the wolves come, and we're like, oh, this wasn't the right spot. But we have choice in that. You want to stay. And sometimes we just don't know. Sometimes we get tricked into believing that camping ground was safe. Cool, I get it, right? Then we need to heal from that. And also we can learn from that, right? We can move and make sure that as we're camping, as we're choosing to unpack, right, that we make the decision to unpack in spaces that are safe and that are supportive and that can feel cozy once we unpack it. Right? Because we don't want to unpack our stuff and then we wind up having something in there that somebody be like, ew, what's that? What's that in that bag?
But also be kind to yourself in that process. Also,
very true.
Because you will do it again. It's a habit. I tell this a lot of times. It's like you have a habit of doing things, and it's just a habit. It's just you learning how to get out of that habit. And how long it takes to create a new habit was like 21 days, 3 weeks. You know, you got to give yourself that time to change the habit, and you will go back and do it again. And you must forgive yourself. You can forgive yourself after that and learn like, oh yeah. I did it again. I talked to that person and told them something I didn't want to say. But I had a moment where I was proud in my personal life. Where I was like, I did not take that bait. I did not, because I know somebody was fishing for information, and I was like, oh no, like I ain't taking that bait. That ain't something I'm going to discuss with you, and I barely talk to you.
Boundaries, the internal and the external one.
Yep. Because I realized I didn't realize when I was getting bait from people or seeing, and that's just me getting better at reading people or whatever and stuff like that. But like, it's like,
I hear you. No. So you already know us, Shayla. We could jam and have conversation all day. We legitimately could be on this live for another hour. So that's how we do. We really can talk, and we really, I believe we'd be having some good stuff to say. It would be even longer if Julie was able to get on, y'all, because we really be jamming. But let's have one final question, right? And let's talk about what we hope to gain, what we're looking forward to in the future of the Unshame and Untame program, right? Like, as we are continuing to develop that, right? Recognizing that although that, just like the other version of the group, just because I started it does not mean that this is not our thing. This is a thing that we are building as a group and as a unit, because I don't believe in me building something that's going to fit everybody, right? I believe in us building like a thing that makes sense for all of us. Like, it's not mine. I don't feel like this ego level attachment to it, right? It's our thing. So what are you looking forward to, right? Like, what are you feeling good about in terms of the development and forward movement of the Unshame Untame program?
Well, first of all, just being part of it keeps me healthy, keeps me like on the right track as far as, you know, what my alignment is, my goals, you know, as a clinician, and, you know, staying healthy with my choices that I make throughout my career, and things like that, and really unlearning all those negative, toxic things that I've gotten, whether it was from school, from unhealthy clinicians that I've been around, or, you know, from, you know, toxic environments, whatever it was. but, you know, really holding myself accountable in that journey, and continuing to receive, you know, validation, getting even further in the process of my career, like other things. I know the last group we just talked about, like just stuff that we would, you know, things about doing in the future that might have not anything to do with clinical work, or may have, but in a different part, or like, because alignment is just about everything that you're, I've learned so much, you know, about myself in a like really safe way through this group. Like, so that has been like the ultimate thing as well, in a safe environment, and, you know, sparsing out ideas and things like that about my career in a safe environment. So I think I just look at seeing like me even getting to do more things in my career, deciding to do more things in a safe way and figuring that out, and to continue to get support from some really great clinicians, by the way. Like, they're like, who, it might be a small group right now, but we got some hitters up in this group.
We got some hitters,
like,
we do.
Like, I don't know about everybody else, but as a clinician, I know when I hear a great clinician, and we have all great clinicians in this group. And that iron sharpens iron thing is real. Like,
it's real. It really is real.
It really is. So I know when I hear like some good stuff, especially the further you get in the field, the further, you know you're hearing some good stuff.
Appreciate it.
That was good. That was good. So it's just using a lot of that same information with my clients, passing it on. I'm a keen believer in, you know, paying it forward. I believe that's my purpose as a therapist anyway, like to learn from what I've learned, have my own therapy, and I pay that forward. So yeah, all of that. Looking forward to a lot of growth in general. I mean, I know I made that long-winded, but it's growth.
Listen, you almost made me cry, right? Because that was extremely heartwarming. Like, holding space with you. Like, I don't think I think y'all do understand, truly. Yeah. This is what's aligned for me. Like, this is it.
Yes.
Right? Like, doing this program, running this group, building this community, hearing from you the ways in which it feels safe and the ways in which it helps you to align. That is like, I don't even know like the word for it. Like, like alignment, when it really happens, it's like,
Well, like I told you, like, you better not stop doing this. You better not stop, because this is it. This is what you're supposed to be doing, and I know it being part of the group.
I appreciate you saying. I really appreciate the affirmation of
like
that.
a CEU workshop, and somebody really know their stuff, and you just like taking notes and everything. Like, that is you. I mean, for sure, in this arena. And I would like to say to everyone, all the clinicians out there, I haven't seen anything like this. I mean, I'm a little old, like, clinician in Maryland. I ain't never seen nothing like, but I do a lot of trainings. I go to a lot of things. Those of y'all that know me know I love a training. I'm at a training. I can tell you about different things. I love, you know, there's certain people that, you know, I just love, and Danielle is one of them, because she really knows her stuff, and you really get a lot out of that training. And I will pay money. I
appreciate that, because I need to lay their stuff. I gotta eat.
That's my big thing in that. If you want to pay money, that's worth it. Like,
I appreciate you.
And no, Danielle has not paid me for this message. I just love Danielle.
I appreciate you so much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate your support. And just know, like, again, that group is something that, without all of us in it creating, like, just like if you think about systems theory, we all come together to make up what that environment is, right? And so I appreciate you, and I get just as much from that group, right? I really do. So very excited to continue to move forward. In October, we're going to be doing our 1-year anniversary live info session. So it's going to be a free live info session that we'll be doing, just for people to, like, ask questions. It'll be Q&A. You'll get all the information about what the program is, how to get involved in it, you know, the pricing and all that other sort of thing. Because again, I gotta eat, right? Like I gotta live. Can't do everything for free. Okay, that's one of the. That's what honestly one of the other things that I'm learning in my alignment, right? Is to ask for what I need, and to stop just giving my stuff away, which is what I was doing for a very long time. So thank you so much again, Shayla, for being here. Julie, we see you in the chat. I love you. I'm so sorry we weren't able to get you on, but yeah, you are here in spirit, Julie. And I'm gonna text you so that we can try to get something going for you and I, Julie. And maybe we can figure out how to do 3 of us on here at one time.
On with her mic. I did see that message. Someone was like IG connecting to her mic on her phone, I believe.
Weird. Okay. Well, we'll figure it out in the future, regardless. Because these things are just really fun anyway. And it gives a lot of good information to the people, right? And that's what we're all about. So, Shayla, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank y'all for joining us here. If you got here late, don't worry. We're going to put this on the page, all right, so you can go back and look at the whole thing. All right, and we appreciate you, and we hope to see you in the next live or the next group that we do.
Yes.
Any final thoughts? Join.
We need more hitters.
We do. All right.